brains have rotted my game.
Ho, ho, ho. Don't you mean the shitty games have rotted your brain?
Oh, hey Santa.
Ho, ho, hello, nerd. Your brain has rotted away, but I'm here to save the entertainment. You see, nerd, by playing these you'll repair your brain.
Oh yeah, Santa, thanks. That makes a lot of sense. Use shitty games to fix my brain that's been fucked up by shitty games, you piece of shit!
You know what? You can just fuck right off, you cocksucker motherfucker!
Oh, okay. Alright, let's see what kind of shit you packed in here. Alright. Oh, okay. Huh. A PlayStation. Oh, okay. And then a school textbook?
Ho, 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 Mary! Right off, you cocksucker motherfucker!
A school text.
Oh, okay. Alright, let's see what kind of shit you packed in here. Alright. Oh, okay. Huh. A PlayStation. Oh, okay. And then a school textbook?
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, nerd!
Alright, let's look this over. A 50-pound box of discs, a workbook.
Ho, ho, ho!
Alright. Oh, okay. Huh. A PlayStation. Oh, okay. And then a school textbook?
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, nerd!
Alright, let's look this over. A 50-pound box of discs, a workbook, a PlayStation with a bunch of fucking wires. Oh, great. Oh, thanks. An RF adapter, too. Oh, what a tease this is. Imagine getting a free PlayStation from your school, but all you get with it is a bunch of edutainment games. It's like getting to go to an awesome water park for free, but all the water slides are piss slides. Oh my gosh, look at this shit. These are only some of the games they made. Lightspan put out more games on the PlayStation than most major game companies. Alright, so I guess I'll just pick something and pop it in. Alright, K9.5 live in Airedale. It's a game about a bunch of Disney reject dog characters in a lame-ass band. Clicking on the pictures gives you a little info about each character, but trust me, you don't want it. They're annoying as fuck.
My real name is James Harrison Richards III, but all my friends just call me Rip. I play lead guitar. My guitar, I call it Rover. It's pretty good. But I'm saving up.
Oh my gosh, I'd rather have a big hairy cow thing take a wet runny poopy in my hearing hole. Ugh, I gotta fix my brain. So you're on your way to play a show in what looks like the most unsafe blimp ever. Seriously, look at this shit. You're in giant dog bowls attached by ropes to balloons, and it doesn't look like anyone's even controlling it. So then a tornado comes out of nowhere, and all your instruments get scattered around the area, and you gotta use your word learning to find them. It's basically moving quizzes, like an animated test. In this one, you have to jump on the vines that have nouns or adjectives on them. You see, everyone, a noun is a person, place, or thing, such as shit, ass, or hell. An adjective describes something like and you go forward. You say there's 5 of something, that makes it an adjective. It's kind of confusing. Way to be an asshole with your trick questions. They could have come up with a better adjective like fluffy. This time I'm going to challenge myself. I want to learn. So let's go with level 2, canyon. Here you have to use the correct form of the verb to fill in a sentence and get little rock balls. You see, a verb is an action word, like shove, as in, I'd rather shove a dragon fruit into my dick hole than play this game. After completing all the sentences, you get to play the world's slowest game of Arkanoid. This is helly, assy, and shitty. Oh, and good luck getting that last one. It takes forever.
Oh, that's great!
After you win, you find a bass guitar made out of human remains. Did he get it by dueling Satan in a rock-off challenge? Huh. He got that bass from Satan, and I got this game from Santa. Makes you think. So, of course, K9.5 sucks doggy dick.
Let's get swinging!
Alright, let's try Kazmania. I really gotta say, if there's one thing Lightspan was good at, it was creating the ugliest characters possible. Kaz is a slug girl with a weird inflated head. She must have had part of her brain cut out because her skull's lopsided.
Okay, and look at all the friends. I mean, look at them. They look like a bunch of infectious diseases under a microscope. I mean, they're all mismatched and completely unappealing. I mean, I despise them. Their visage brings severe displeasure and mental anguish. I have to admit, these games seem to be helping. I've noticed an increase in mental acuity as well as a more educated lexicon. Maybe I'm getting more smarter and lesser dumber. So this one's a shitty first-person shooter, an SFPS. You run around with some of the most unresponsive controls in history. You lob blue balls at shit plunger pogo robots. You shoot these kiosks, which makes you answer boring questions. I hate this. I end up just blind guessing. This isn't what learning is supposed to be. This isn't teaching me anything. All I'm doing is half-assing it to get it over with. You add another half-ass, you get a whole ass, which is the opposite of asshole. And from that asshole, you get a whole shit. And speaking of half-ass, that's what this game is. It came out in '97, the same year as Final Fantasy VII, Symphony of the Night, and Abe's Odyssey. This game is boring as fuck. The graphics are ugly as shit. The music is like having your ear holes fucked repeatedly by a flaming demon dildo. You see, I just shared 3 similes with you. That's a literary device using like or as to draw a comparison between 2 things. These Lightspan games feature some of the worst visuals I've ever seen. You don't believe me? Check out any of the games featuring PK, another nightmarish misfit mascot of Lightspan. Out of every character in these games, PK is by far the scariest thing. In every game he's featured in, he's the only 3D character. These supporting characters are lame, but not too bad. Then PK comes in to fuel your nightmares and traumatize you. Why'd they hand draw every other character but make him 3D? He looks like a store brand Toucan Sam that murders children in his spare time. The funniest thing about him is the steady decrease in quality of his animation throughout all the games. In the beginning, it looks like someone tried to spend time working on him, but then they started caring less and less. Here, he's just inserted into a castle and repeats the same few frames of animation. In this game, he's just a still picture with a voiceover and moving eyes. Even the people who created this avian atrocity didn't feel like working on him. Why put him in so many games if the main focus is on these weird side characters anyway? I know I ask this a lot, but what were they thinking? Every game is the same. Answer some questions, watch a shitty cartoon, answer some questions, watch a shitty cartoon, answer some questions, watch a shitty cartoon. I'm putting a stop to this endless shit cycle. While these games may be the electronic manifestation of bovine and canine fecal matter, I am, however, noticing favorable increases in my linguistic skills. I think it's now time to improve my arithmetic. Shit piss, fuck, monkey cheese, shit pickle. Let's learn some motherfucking math! On the move! So the first weird thing about this game is what happens when you click these music notes. The video plays showing you these fake arcade games. There's Alligator Farm, which is like shitty Donkey Kong. Yeah, you ever play that one? Shitty Donkey Kong. Smack 'em and slap 'em? Maybe it's the sequel to Beat 'em and Eat 'em. And then there's prehistoric driving. It looks worse than Desert Bus. You're driving on a white background while the same dinosaur flips out over and over again. Why even have them? They're not even playable games. You know when I say a game is unplayable? Well, these ones you actually can't play. Get ready for Math on the Move. It's the worst in the Lightspan catalog. Choose a category and then either lesson or practice. This game really ups the laziness because it isn't even a fucking game, it's just videos starring the dorkiest geeks of the entire 90s. Hope you enjoy your game. Look at how geeky they are. I mean, look how they're dressed. Not all cool like me. This game looks like the 90s got food poisoning and then hurled into a toilet and then shat in it and then forgot to flush. There's nothing like a bunch of goofy assholes telling you how to add numbers together as they pretend a spazzing dinosaur's there.
Oh, hi.
And why do they feature a dinosaur anyway? It makes no sense. Imagine coming home from school and having to actually play this shit for homework. Wow, could you imagine the conversation on the bus ride to school Monday morning? Some kid's talking about some awesome dinosaur game, Dino Crisis, that he rented from Blockbuster. And then the other kid's like, oh yeah, I played a dinosaur game too. Oh yeah, like what? Like Jurassic Park? No. Primal Rage? No. Oh yeah, you must mean Turok. No, not that. Well, what game was it? Math on the Move? And then everyone laughs at you. including the bus driver. Practice mode is just as pointless. You sit and watch math problems, and they give you the answer.
57.
What's this teaching me? That my patience is running thin? This is something that could have been a VHS tape, not a PlayStation game. Oh my god, it's so bad. The PlayStation's soiled, it's unclean, it's broken. I don't even want it in my house anymore. Yeah, I know. The amount of PlayStation consoles may seem superfluous, but you'd be astonished at how many times I've had to cleanse my dwelling of begrimed and impure consoles tainted by shitty games. Buckle up, fuckaroos! I know I said Math on the Move was the worst, but this is the best of the worst. Calamity something. Calamity the Natural World. It starts off as any shitfest would, with those muddy full-motion cinematics, indicative of electronic anal fudge. Calamity Jane gets a weird time machine from none other than Jules Verne, because why the hell not? Jules Verne really phoned it in on this one. He's supposed to be French, but sometimes he sounds German, I guess? I don't know. It's just all these conflicting accents going on.
Now keep trying until you win. Don't give up. Vive le jeu.
Parallel to these events, two kids in the future are getting ready for a baseball game at Calamity Jane Middle School when, you guessed it, they're transported into the past and have to help the real Calamity Jane. So basically, it's a shitty version of Bill and Ted. Yeah, and Calamity Jane, according to common history knowledge, she was an illiterate alcoholic prostitute. Really great role model you dug up there, Lightspan.
You ready?
Calamity Jane.
According to common history knowledge, she was an illiterate alcoholic prostitute. Really great role model you dug up there, Lightspan.
You ready for another kind of ride?
So the kids need to help Calamity get the time machine up and running again. You know, they need to get back to the future so they can get back to their baseball game.
It's really her. Calamity Jane.
Cool. We've been transported to the past.
Cool. Are you crazy? We've got the playoffs in an hour.
Their baseball game is in an hour, but from what I understand, they're in the 1800s right now. So I think they have plenty of fucking time. Oh, fuck it. I'm not going to argue the logistics of this heap of pachyderm piss and shit. So to get the time machine running again, you gotta fix it, right? No, of course not. You have to read articles and answer questions. Imagine if that worked in real life. Like, oh, my car broke down. Here. That fixed the engine. Here. That fixed the tire. Here. That filled the gas. Beep, beep. Let's go. So anyway, the gameplay is as boring as the rest. Read shit, answer shit. It's as simple as that. Oh, and Jules Verne is just as bored as us.
Go back or quit.
And for the love of fuck and all that is assy and shitty, look at that wall of text. Oh, this is teaching me a lot. This is teaching me how to scroll down. I mean, who's gonna read any of this? I'd rather have Captain Nemo pilot the Nautilus directly into my jejunum. That's the portion of the small intestine between the ileum and the duodenum. In layman's terms. Pretty far up my fucking asshole! Confound this repugnant discharge to the inferno of the future state of the wicked, for I am the exasperated electronic amusement connoisseur. And to everyone, everywhere, enjoy your winter solstice holidays. Super Nintendo versus Sega Genesis. There's no better pair of things that the word versus has ever come between. It's truly a nostalgic battle. We were talking about it 20 years ago, and we're still talking about it today. So ever since I started doing the Nerd series, I always felt like it would make a great subject for a video, but I've always held back because I felt the whole thing is so much bigger than I am. How could I do it justice? To really do a proper analysis of both systems would take months and months of concentrating on just that. So the only thing I can give is an opinion. So I figured I might as well take the approach of just taking you back to the past, because that's what I do best, And there's no better way to go back to the past than to hear it from my past self at age 11. That's right, I already made a video about this topic. I might as well just sit back. Nintendo versus Genesis.
In the commercials, they say that Genesis is better than Nintendo.
Where am I?
Like you see this, they say that
Nintendo versus Genesis.
in the commercials, they say that Genesis is better than Nintendo.
Where am I?
Like you see, this is Nintendo 8-bit.
I can't see a damn thing.
I'll turn that off if you don't mind.
Thank you.
All right, now, so Genesis always brags about how good it is.
As you can tell, I'm talking about the Genesis commercials. I'm sure everybody's seen them by now, but if you haven't, here's a refresher.
Genesis does
16-bit arcade graphics.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does
16-bit sports action.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis does.
What Nintendo don't. Buy 16-bit Genesis.
Nintendo?
You can't do this on Nintendo, they said. Genesis does what Nintendo doesn't.
See, even as a kid, I couldn't bring myself to say Nintendo. But in hindsight, it was a great commercial. Just the fact that we're talking about it now means it really left an impression. It worked. I'm sure that commercial alone sold many Genesis Mega Drives. But back then, that commercial was the bane of my existence. How dare you talk about Nintendo like that? They took a cheap shot. I took it personal, as if one of my best friends just got bullied. So there I am, pissed off, making a video about it. I guess nothing's changed. So, little Jimmy, tell us why the Nintendo brand is better than Sega.
It has more games, like, wait a minute. Wait right there.
Okay.
Or, some pocket video games. Wait. Actually, this is from Tiger, but it got the ideas off of Nintendo's Simon Quest, and they got the
Wait. If we're talking about great classic games made by Nintendo, how about Super Mario Bros. 3 or something like that? But no, the Tiger handheld version of Simon's Quest? I still have it.
Nintendo has posters, like, here's a Nintendo poster.
Ah, take that, Sega. Nintendo's got posters.
And Nintendo has guidebooks.
You mean strategy guides?
Here, see a Nintendo guidebooks?
Or Nintendo Power.
These are Nintendo characters. These awesome labels for the controllers.
I still have those. And they are awesome.
The power gun allows you to shoot at characters on the Nintendo screen.
That's the zapper, but they should have called it the power gun, like the power glove and the power pad.
Well, the power pad.
Yeah, you got it.
Giant controller.
Okay, you got that? Reasons why Nintendo is better than Sega. Tiger handheld Simon's Quest, posters, guidebooks, characters, controller stickers, power gun, and power pad. Boom! In your face, Sega! Obviously, I was showing a lot of faith to the Nintendo brand. I was what you might call a fanboy. But in truth, I was envious over the 16-bit glory of the Genesis. The graphics they showed in that commercial, you couldn't do that on Nintendo.
Wrong. You can do that on Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
They invented a Super Nintendo with 16-bit graphics.
Now that's what we're talking about. The Super Nintendo felt like Nintendo's answer to Sega. But did the battle stop there? Nope. It only started.
In the commercials, they keep bragging about Genesis. They said that Genesis is even better than the Super Nintendo, but they're both 16-bit.
Sega had a point before, but now it's like a bully who's gonna pick on an even bigger kid.
The Sega Genesis has blast processing. Super Nintendo doesn't. So what's blast processing do?
It was ingenious. Blast processing. Every kid who saw that commercial remembered that term. Sega fanboys now had some new ammunition to use. So Sega's marketing team was like feeding all these arguments in the school cafeteria with like all these new words to use. I remember being on the school bus trying to tell one of my friends Super Nintendo's better, and he kept saying blast processing. It worked. The term caught on like wildfire. It worked so well that even to this day, we're still talking about it. The internet is a new playground to continue all these old arguments. It picked up just like before with everyone debating whether or not blast processing is real or not. I've seen it on message boards. It's real, it's not real, it's real, it's not real. What's the story? Well, I looked into it. According to the technical specs, the Genesis is faster. I can't find many great side-by-side comparisons to really demonstrate it. The Sonic the Hedgehog games seem to be the classic example. The term blast processing was made up for the commercial, because that sounds way cooler than just pointing out the facts. Imagine if the commercial said, the Sega Genesis has a 7.6 megahertz processor. The Super Nintendo, only 3.6. That's not as catchy. Commercials aren't about stating the facts. They're about just what are people going to remember. Say blast processing and every kid is going to start using it, even if they don't know what it means. Like I used to say bits all the time and I never knew what that meant. And it's hilarious that if you look at the rest of the specs, the Super Nintendo outshines the Genesis in almost every other detail, but they found that one thing to exploit, and that's the nature of marketing. One time I had a playful argument about chocolate milk. And this is two grown adults, I might add. I was working at a convenience store, and every day I'd drink this milk mixed with a chocolate mix, and my friend would always drink the regular chocolate milk out of the bottle. I told him mine was better, so we compared nutrition facts, and turns out mine had less sugar, more vitamins, and was better in just about every way, but his had a little more vitamin D in it. So every day then he would come into work, sipping his chocolate milk and go, "Love that vitamin D." Yeah, we got bored at work a lot. Also, notice the game they chose to make fun of was Super Mario Kart.
And what if you don't have blast processing?
Have you played Super Mario Kart? That's a great fun game. So they're comparing it to Sonic just to show how much faster the Genesis is. But what are we comparing here? Vertical speed versus straight on racing? It doesn't scroll as fast because it's a totally different kind of game. I'm looking into it way too deep, but the point is it's another marketing strategy. Make your product look as cool as possible and make the competitor look like crap. It's easy. I'm going to make my own Genesis commercial right now. Hey kid, you still playing that Super Nintendo? Look at what Sega Genesis has got. And Super Nintendo has got this. So what's the choice? That was fun. You see, you can make anything look as good or as crappy as you want. And I think as a kid, I saw that in the commercials, and I felt that these commercials were brainwashing other kids, and that's what pissed me off. I felt like it was just manipulating other kids to think whatever they wanted them to think. The whole blast processing thing was almost like an act of desperation from Sega, just trying to get through the point that the Genesis was better and using any tactics they could. Almost like me as a kid trying to defend the NES because of stickers on the controllers. So I was just trying to speak up how I felt and didn't really know how to.
Remember, when you play Nintendo, you're playing with power. When you play Game Boy, you're playing with portable power. When you play Super NES, you're playing with Ultra Power, and Genesis, no power.
Well, there you go. Now you got yourself a slogan. Needs a little work, but you're thinking, or I'm still thinking. Yeah, I've come a long way in being able to articulate myself, and I've never thought about it till now, but I think those Sega commercials played a part in teaching me how to edit, how to make videos, because when I'm doing a nerd video, for example, and I'm trying to tell you how bad the game is, I'm going to be selecting all the parts that are bad to show you, and if it's awesome, I'm going to show you all the parts that are good. So unless you see the original product for yourself, you can't really take an objective view, because that's the way the media is. It's always through someone's opinion. So who am I to make a judgment of Super Nintendo versus Sega Genesis? Have I really played enough of both console to really make a fair assessment? But hey, it's an opinion, and I gotta give you what you want. You click on a video that says Super Nintendo versus Sega Genesis, you're expecting a throwdown. So let the throwdown begin. Let's start with the most obvious, the look of the console.
Dude, you really got the death
Genesis
battle
has
music.
a more modern shape. It looks cool. The Super Nintendo looks like a blocky kid's toy with purple switches. And for some reason, lots of Super NES consoles turn yellow over time. I don't know why, maybe everyone pisses on them. I don't piss on mine, and it's one of the best aged Super Nintendos I've ever seen. The Genesis looks more slick, not counting all the different models and all that crap that gets attached to it, just the original. Winner, Genesis. The Genesis controller is straightforward and simple, 4 buttons if you count start. Super Nintendo, 8 buttons if you count start and select. That makes it way easier to play fighting games like Mortal Kombat. On Genesis, there's not enough buttons. You have to use start to block, and both high punch and low punch are on the A button. With games like Street Fighter that require 6 buttons, you have to hit start to select between punches and kicks, or get another controller. But we're comparing the basic controllers that came with the console. The Super Nintendo has all the buttons you need in all the right places. I can easily press L or R, and my thumbs are still free. In a Mario type game, I can hold down Y to run and push the rest of my thumb onto B to jump. It helps that the buttons are all on an angle. On Genesis, they're all in a straight line. I have to hop my thumb back and forth. The Super Nintendo feels more comfortable. That rounded dog bone shape fits in your hands perfectly. I guess one plus about the Genesis is that you can plug in an Atari controller. That's pretty cool, right? Winner, Super Nintendo. This may seem like a minor thing, but isn't it nice to have something to put your game in? The Super Nintendo games had the standard cardboard boxes, but the Genesis boxes weren't boxes at all. They were plastic cases that snap open. That's a good idea. In retrospect, it's great for collecting too. It's much easier to find a Genesis game complete in the box. With the Super Nintendo, the boxes just got in the way, so most people threw them out. The Genesis cases were progressive, and it's now what every game console uses. Winner, Genesis. Being able to play your old games on your new console is a great feature to have. The Super Nintendo had the Super Game Boy, which allowed you to play your Game Boy games. The Genesis had no such adapter for the Game Gear, although it did have the power-based converter, which was for playing Sega Master System games. This was an official contraption from Sega, but Super Nintendo had an unlicensed version of the same thing called the Super 8, which played NES and Super Famicom games. That makes things pretty even, but thanks to the Super Game Boy, the winner is Super Nintendo. Graphics is a hard one. I've already mentioned the Super Nintendo is technically superior with a greater color palette and all that, and it makes sense to me that a newer console would be more advanced. But look at them. They both look pretty good to me. It really depends on which games you're comparing. Alright Jimmy, so help us out with the graphics. The Super Nintendo just came out, so what do you think?
It's perfect. Look at these graphics. And rotation, like in here, and like in F-Zero, you curve around the racing turns and you could just, it feels like you're really moving. And it has smooth animation, like suppose someone waving their hand in imagination. It moves it just a notch. Takes 16 notches to move the hand down, and another 16 notches to move it up. So that means it's smooth animation. Scaling.
I'm talking about scaling?
Like, for instance, a car racing away, it shrinks. Super Nintendo has great things. It just shrinks as it falls, and it has great resolution. Oh, I should say that. Resolution is a very impressive 512 times 448. That's twice the resolution of other 16-bit video games. Color layering, big characters, and multi-color scrolling backgrounds.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I think my younger self just went way over my head. So how does it all stack up today? Well, I think both systems are very comparable, but the Super Nintendo impresses me still just a little bit more.
I say the 16-bit Super Nintendo is a bit better than Genesis. Ha! Get it? A bit better?
One thing that helped push it over the line was the
Better than
just a little bit more.
I say the 16-bit Super Nintendo is a bit better than Genesis. Ha! Get it? A bit better?
One thing that helped push it over the line was the FX chip used in games like Doom and Star Fox, which helped to render three-dimensional shapes. This was a new achievement later in the Super Nintendo's lifespan, which made it exciting that our 16-bit console could improve itself. The Genesis, on the other hand, was on life support, using hardware add-ons like the Sega CD and the 32X, just to accomplish the same thing the Super Nintendo already could.
Hey! You still don't have a Sega CD? What are you waiting for, Nintendo to make one? There is no Nintendo CD.
I never understood the purpose. You have to own a Genesis to play a Sega CD or a 32X. Winner, Super Nintendo. When it comes to sound, there's no question about it. The sound effects on the Super Nintendo were far superior.
Johnny Cage. Come here! Get over here!
And the music on the Super Nintendo just got me so pumped up. It is fair to say that they're both two different things, that each console both had their own distinct style. I will say, as much as I love the orchestral cinematic sound of the Super Nintendo, I also love the gritty heavy metal sound of the Genesis too. Games like Earthworm Jim sounded better on the Genesis. So there are exceptions, but most of the time, the Super Nintendo rocks the competition. It's the first console I ever heard where it crossed the line of video game music and just started to sound like real music. The Super Nintendo has some of the greatest video game themes ever. Winner, Super Nintendo. Both consoles had a great library of games. Genesis had Altered Beast, Moonwalker, the Shinobi game, Strider, Toe Jam and Earl, and the best version of Ghostbusters that existed back then. Super Nintendo had Pilot Wings, the Mega Man X games, and the best version of SimCity around. A lot of the same games that crossed over to both consoles came out almost the same and are hard to compare. Aladdin is an example where both versions are completely different from each other. In this case, the Genesis version is way better. All the Konami games are different, such as Ninja Turtles. Genesis got the Hyperstone Heist and Super Nintendo got Turtles in Time. These games are similar, but you can't beat Turtles in Time. Genesis got Contra Hard Corps, while Super Nintendo got Contra 3. Again, both are similar, but on the Genesis version you could choose to play as different characters, including a wolf, and it didn't have that annoying overhead stage like in the Super Nintendo version. What were they thinking? Genesis got Castlevania Bloodlines, while Super Nintendo got Castlevania 4. Both are great, but Castlevania 4 blows my mind with its smooth control and creepy graphics. One of my favorite games of all time. Adventures of Batman and Robin. Both versions have awesome graphics that resemble the animated TV series that it's based on, but the Genesis version just nails it this time. It has the cutscenes that the Super Nintendo version's missing, and the stage graphics have a lot of three-dimensional depth. There seems to be a myth that Genesis is more of an adult console. That may be true that Nintendo seems to target younger audiences, but it's not all rainbows and flowers. All the hubbub comes from the first Mortal Kombat game. The Super Nintendo took out the blood and altered some of the fatalities. The Genesis version also didn't have the blood until you turn it on with a secret code. Starting with Mortal Kombat 2, Super Nintendo brought the blood back full on, so now it's a moot point. Super Nintendo had blood in Doom Troopers and in Doom, so there's no way you can say it's just a kiddie console. Even Nintendo's own branded game Super Metroid was dark in tone and overall badass. Both had their share of fighting games, but Killer Instinct, come on! It wasn't the same as the arcade, but it's still the best exclusive 16-bit fighter by far. The beat-em-up genre. Genesis had the Golden Axe games, Alien Storm, and Streets of Rage. Everyone always talks about Streets of Rage, but Super Nintendo had the Final Fight games. The first one didn't have a two-player option like the arcade, but they rectified that with the sequels. I don't know what it is, but beat-em-up games always feel more fun on the Super Nintendo. On the Genesis, they're a little bit clunky. On Super Nintendo, the action is smooth and it just feels right when you hit people. Genesis had more sports games, I'll give you that any day. You can keep your sports games, so if that's your thing, your console is Genesis. The RPG department, Super Nintendo just kills it. Final Fantasy III, which is actually 6, is one of the best games ever made. You can't compete with that. And that's not to say Genesis didn't have its share of RPGs. There was the Phantasy Star games, of course, but Super Nintendo also had Chrono Trigger, another masterpiece. That's a 1-2 punch. And also there's Super Mario RPG. May seem gimmicky to make an RPG just to include Nintendo characters, but it's a really fun game and much better than what most people may expect. Both consoles had their share of bad games. Super Nintendo had Wizard of Oz, Genesis had Action 52, and both consoles were unfortunate enough to have Shaq Fu. Then of course there's Sonic the Hedgehog and Super Mario World. Which is better? It's all a matter of preference. I will say Sonic 2 was the game that made me buy a Genesis, but even with all the Sonic games, I still could never live without Super Mario World. It may not have the fast speed action, but it has lots of power-ups, fun challenge, and an incredible world to explore. After all, it is Super Mario World. I love Sonic, but I feel with a good Mario game, there's just a little bit more to it. If there's one platformer that can top Super Mario World, it's the Donkey Kong Country games. They're so addicting that just trying to record the footage here, I had trouble turning it off. I wanted to keep playing. Between the Super Nintendo and Genesis, it all depends on what kind of games are your favorite. Possibly, my favorite game of all time is Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. The puzzle solving, the storyline, and the action that goes on in that game is so phenomenal, I'm at loss for words. It never gets old. I can still play it any day. I think this game just nukes the entire competition. If you ask me why do you like Super Nintendo better, my answer is Link to the Past. And if that's not enough, Super Metroid. I recommend it hardcore. This is a must-play game. It's a giant maze that you can't stop playing until it's finished. It has a foreboding atmosphere that keeps you tense the whole time. Running around blowing stuff up has never been so much fun. Take your pick, but the winner for me is Super Nintendo.
There you have it. Nintendo wins. It will take centuries to invent something that'll top that.
Give it a few years, Jimmy. So I just wanted to bring you back to a simpler time when there wasn't a care in the world other than defending your favorite console. There's always problems going on in the world and political issues and whatnot, but back then, all we cared about was what's better, Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo. And one thing I do know, the world wouldn't be complete without both of them. Long live the 16 bits.
Alright, so one thing that I've noticed over the years in comments and people sending us emails and stuff is that a lot of people want to know what some of our favorite controllers are and if we would make a video just talking about controllers, so I thought we'd just do that.
Sure.
So let's start off by talking about some of the stuff that Nintendo released. NES.
I mean, does this one need any explanation at all? It's your classic NES controller.
What do you think about the NES controller in the fact that the Super Nintendo controller was more curved, rounded for your hands? Did that ever bother you, how the controller was kind of had harsh edges?
Well, no one ever thought of that when this came out. This was the only thing there was. I mean, there was, you know, Atari and everything else. Like this was like a big step up. This was the most awesome controller when it came out, because you know you have two buttons. You have also you have select and start, and the D-pad was new.
Yeah.
This is really the one that started it all. Like the Atari was extremely basic. So this was a new generation type of controller. But you're talking about the Super Nintendo one, how they made it curved.
Yeah, the Super Nintendo controller, I think it's one of the best controllers ever made. The NES controller, one thing that I want to say positive about it, I mean, I think it's a great controller, but an NES controller, if you get mad when you're playing a game, you can take it and you can throw it down on the ground and you can pick it back up and the controller will still work. If you do that to a Super Nintendo controller, they're gonna break.
And that's happened, yeah.
So that's one thing that I think is bad about the Super Nintendo controller. You gotta be really careful.
But this is my favorite controller. This is still my favorite controller ever because it's curved, it fits perfectly into your hands, and you have the L and R buttons. I also like that whenever I'm playing a game where Mario is running, or anybody, you know, you're holding the Y button, and as I'm playing, I'm kind of like pushing the rest of my thumb down over the B button to jump.
They're lined up for your thumb.
Yeah. Like almost like the Y and the B almost became the B and A on Nintendo, which is always weird. I was like, why is B before A?
But then it had the additional buttons, and you could kind of like jump over to the A in some games.
Yeah, even though these are the B and the A, it's like Y and B you use the most of, and I always feel that's so comfortable. Like I can find all the buttons very easily. Yeah, it's very intuitive.
This controller also had the shoulder buttons, which was new. If you're playing, I got a shit. Shit, got shit, shit, playing Super Mario Kart or a game like that, you know, you can use it to drift or you know. So those were new and they were awesome. I remember the first time using this controller and being like, wow, there's buttons on top. Isn't that cool? You know. So Super Nintendo, I agree, one of the best controllers ever made.
Oh, they actually, speaking of the rounded controllers, they even made the dog bone shape. They call it the dog bone NES controller.
Yeah.
So you could play NES with that rounded curve to it. The NES, is there a reason why B is before A? Everybody always wondered that, but we're so used to it that we just don't care.
Why is it not A, B? I'm not sure.
The only person, I had a friend who told me, who's like the only person who ever attempted to explain it, he goes, because it stands for before and after.
There you go. Another controller we have here is the NES Advantage controller.
That's
going back to NES.
Before A. The NES, is there a reason why B is before A? Everybody always wondered that, but we're so used to it that we just don't care.
Why is it not A, B? I'm not sure.
The only person, I had a friend who told me, who's like the only person who ever attempted to explain it, he goes, because it stands for before and after.
There you go. Another controller we have here is the NES Advantage controller, going back to NES again. This was a controller that I would like to use when playing games like, I don't know, Pac-Man on Nintendo or Q*bert. Arcade-style games were great to use that controller. It had a turbo on it, but it was a good controller. I didn't use it often. How about you?
I very, very rarely ever use this, but sometimes to get that arcade experience, that's probably the feel like I'm playing 1942 or something, you know. But it's a little bit bulky, I should say. Like it kind of weighs down on you a bit when you're holding it. You know, it's not really like a comfortable thing to just hold to go like this for hours.
It's
but
not. Yeah.
If you put it down on something, like this, and you play it like that, that's how you really get the arcade experience out of it.
There was also the Sega Genesis version where it was the Sega Genesis arcade controller. Both of them were very large on the bottom, like James was saying, where you could stand at an arcade machine. So that's what they were trying to emulate. But when you're standing at an arcade machine, it's this big heavy machine, and you can use the controller. This is this is still movable where the giant machine isn't. So I always felt like this part of it will always move around. Like I'm trying to get into the game and this thing's moving around. I never really cared for these controllers too much. I would rather use a regular controller.
And also it had the 2 ports.
It did.
Which is kind of weird.
It was weird.
I kind of forget, what was the function of this? Why was it 2?
You just had to have both of them plugged in order to use the controller, I believe. If they both needed to be in. Let's talk a little bit about the Atari controllers. You got your classic Atari controller. It was very, very basic. Doesn't get more basic than this. This controller, I have to admit, never really liked this controller, and that's going back
when it was your only option?
When it was my only option, I didn't know any better. But once I had more options, I decided, when I play Atari, I like to play with a Sega Genesis controller.
Yeah.
This controller, even as a kid, it hurts your hand when you try to play for a long time, or at least it hurts my hand. It's still classic to play.
It's absolutely. It's like probably the most classic controller if you want to go by that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to be legit about it, use this controller. But since there's a kind of better option I like to play with the Genesis controller.
Yeah, they don't hold up very well either because a lot of mine, they break. Like the whole joystick part here actually came off on some of mine.
Yeah.
I actually don't even think I have a single one of these that works good now.
Oh, you want that one? I've got a bunch of them.
You sure?
Yeah, I've got tons of them. So have you ever used this controller? This is the Atari 7800 controller.
Wait, the one I have isn't the real...
We'll get to it.
Right.
So this is the... There's different controllers that were released for the 7800. This one I really prefer because it's more like the NES style controller where it's actually got the D-pad sort of thing, even though there's a stick on it. It's still like a D-pad.
That's weird, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a great controller. It's a great option to play 2600 and 7800 games with. We should get you one of these too. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah. This is the actual 7800 controller. Same kind of problem. You're holding this big base with this stick going around, like we mentioned.
Yeah, I mean it's like the Atari 2600 one, but the big difference that they have the 2 buttons on the side, and I always thought that was a little different. If you're used to the 2600, then that one's kind of strange.
Yeah, it is a strange controller.
Mm-hmm.
Got to talk about the Atari 2600 paddles briefly. These are the regular paddles. Atari had 2 different paddles for the system. There was these paddles which you'd use for games like Kaboom and Warlords and whatnot. They're the basic paddles. As we've talked about before, these paddles get jittery very easily, but there is a way that you can fix them. You can open them up and clean them and whatnot. But they are, if I can get all these, this is going to be this whole video is me messing around with wires. But these controllers are cool. They're just easily, they break, but when they are working, they're great.
Oh yeah, like Breakout or something like that. Like these are amazing because it feels, it feels very smooth, but they do not hold up very well at all.
They don't. And another controller that they had for the Atari 2600 was the driving controllers. This you would use for games like Indy 500, where with this controller, the paddle controller, it stops when you get to a certain point, and then I go to this side and it stops on that side.
I didn't know that.
The driving controllers
I was not aware of that.
Spin all the way around. Spin that knob, James.
All right.
See, it spins all the way.
This one I can hear does a little bit of like a clicking. You can hear like
Yeah.
almost like you're unlocking a lock. You know?
So the driving controllers are cool. So you know what controller this is, right, James?
Yep, that's the 5200.
Now, this controller, as we all know, was notorious for being one of the worst controllers of all time because...
Yeah, like I did the whole video about the 5200.
Yeah.
But I never had a real experience with it because like the one that I bought was refurbished. It was on eBay, and it worked. So you can buy working ones now, but I feel like they're ones that people have done some work on to get them working.
Yeah.
Because the reputation is that it wouldn't that
it wouldn't work.
Weren't very responsive. They would break very easily.
It was kind of like the Atari paddle controllers in that when you first got the system, like it might work the first few times, but then the controller would easily break because the Atari would use cheap parts, and then you have a broken controller. That what are you going to do with it? And then the problem was the end of it, you couldn't plug a 2600 controller into it, so you were just stuck with a console with a broken controller, and you couldn't play really any of the games. Maybe if you had the trackball controller, you could play those games, but the majority of the games, you're pretty much just screwed. Unless you got yourself, at the time, a third-party Atari controller. So this is...
You know, I also have to say that maybe, I believe, the first controller to ever have a pause button.
Yeah, it had a pause, it had a reset, and it also had a keyboard on it. But unfortunately, you know, if the joystick part of it isn't working, a lot of these other buttons aren't going to... If you can start the game, it doesn't help you much if the joystick isn't working.
Yeah.
So a lot of companies released third-party controllers. Now this is...
Ricoh, I believe?
This one, they actually called it the bat controller. It looks like a baseball bat, I think is why they called it that.
I've heard it called the butt plug controller.
Well, I think you're thinking of... this is the Atari Wicco controller. See, this one says Wicco on it. The Wicco ones have more of a pointed butt plug shape. And we got to get off this subject. But
put that down.
These controllers have this on the bottom, and you can basically sort of center the controller. Somebody wrote on the bottom or something.
Okay, it just looked it looked more perverted.
When somebody like, let's keep on. Oh wait, what did they draw?
Yeah, I mean you're talking.
There's like a space alien on the bottom of the thing or something. Some kid drew like a picture on it. But what I was gonna say was these switches on the bottom is how you would center the controller and line up like the axis. I've never had a hell of a lot of luck with these controllers. They would always just be like a little bit off. Like they would work, but not great.
Well, when you need something to set the axis, then you know it's already like
it would be on there, which is good. But to me, there's better options out there. They also had this stick, which was the TAC2 stick, whereas this controller, the bat controller, was kind of a tall stick there. This one's a shorter one, just a different feel to it. So they had all kinds of different, third-party controllers that you could use. I like this controller a lot actually because you hear that it's got like a click to it.
Okay.
A lot of people don't like this controller, but I always thought it was kind of cool for old style arcade games. It was called the 500XJ Evix by Connex. Kind of a cool controller, and the buttons on the side there just, you know, all kinds of different controllers. This was called, just kind of like Bruce Springsteen, this was the Boss. And this controller actually is pretty good. In fact, all these controllers I'm talking about all work pretty darn. Actually, it's pretty good. Just, you know, all kinds of different controllers. This was called, just kind of like Bruce Springsteen, this was the Boss. And this controller actually is pretty good. In fact, all these controllers I'm talking about all work pretty darn good. But that's if you want a controller that has a stick like this. And like we were talking about with the NES Advantage controller, how it has this big base. And then there's like the stick. It's kind of like this is moving all over the place, and then and then it has.
That's
this.
why none of those work out that great unless you have a good way to like set it down.
Exactly. So what I'm getting at by showing all these, and like this is another similar one like that. I don't particularly care for those.
Have you ever seen ones that have suction cups on the bottom?
There are ones that have suction cups. So you can, there's all kinds of crazy things. There's also like
I guess you stick it on your table or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also another thing where they had a base where you could actually take a controller like this and put it into the base so that this wouldn't move around. So they knew that that was a problem, the fact that the bases would move around. So they tried to do things to correct it. But at the end of the day, if you're playing a 2600 game, as far as I'm concerned, this is the controller you want. It's just a regular Sega Genesis controller, and it's really, I think, the best option because your hand is not going to get tired because you're trying to get this joystick. It's not rocking around. I know it's not. In a way, it's not classic because it's not a joystick. You know, you're playing those old arcade games with a D-pad, so I think that's why some people have a problem with that.
Okay.
But I don't have a problem with that. I think it's fine to play 2600 games with a D-pad.
I mean, I always feel like it's just to be authentic. I want to play with the Atari, but I do understand why it's easier with that.
Yeah. This one is called the Slick Stick. I always thought that was a dirty, dirty sounding name. Somebody made this. This is the like a controller adapter to where you can take a Sega Genesis controller, right? And you can plug it in to the front of this. Right here, and then why don't you grab that Sega Genesis controller, and it has a keypad on there. Now the keypad, you know why it has the keypad? Because the Atari 5200 controller had a keypad on it. So if you want to get the game started for the 5200, you need the keypad to start the game, and then you can play with the 5200 controller.
Wow.
So in all the years that have passed since all these problems with the 5200, people have come up with alternatives to play your 5200.
If you really want to play the 5200.
If you really want to play... Well, that's the thing, is the 5200 didn't have bad games.
No.
It's just a bad controller. So
yeah.
So there you go. So Nintendo 64 came out after the Super Nintendo, and they very much changed what the controllers are like between the Super Nintendo...
This was another big game changer, so to say. What was really cool about this was... it was the first time where a joystick actually felt really natural, where you can move it with your thumb. They had all these different colors. I remember there was like, you got the green ones, you got the purple ones, the clear ones. And everybody who first looked at this, every time the first thing that people said when they saw this was, what do you need, 3 hands to play it? Like, why is there 3 handles here? And still, I find that kind of weird, actually. I guess you're typically playing them like this.
I remember it was funny, we were playing that... Mario Kart video, and
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
I remember Kevin. I think he was holding the controller like that or something, and he was having a hard time getting over it.
Oh, so he was doing it like he's reaching over with it like that. I mean, you could do it that way, but it's not very comfortable. It's better like
people used to do that. You know, he wasn't the only one I've seen do that. A lot of people used to be like, because you know what, you have the D-pad over here. You're used to playing like Super Nintendo and NES, so you would have your hand over here. And then you try to reach over. So I can understand why people would do that, but really...
It's actually not that bad, to tell you the truth. It's better doing it like this, but you could still do it this way. But there's no game where you need to... Well, I guess if it's a game where you need to use the L and R, but then I guess the Z, because there's the Z trigger on the back.
It depends what game you're playing. If you have your hand here, you can't play with that up there. So basically the idea is you could switch between the two. So for a game like Excite Bike or Mario Kart, you would want to have your hand in the middle. For different games, you might want to have your hand up here. So you can switch between the two.
I wish it was utilized.
Is the thing.
Yeah.
I can't think of what.
It's not a hard concept to get, but when people first saw it, it was just a weird design.
It was very different than what people were used to.
And looking back, nobody's ever done that since. So it seems like it's weird again.
True. They've come up with better controller designs since then. This is not one of my favorite controller designs. It's a little weird.
I like the joystick.
Yeah, I mean, there's good things about it. I think people are very nostalgic for this controller. It's you know, there's a lot of those games like Mario Party where you do this kind of stuff, and you know, there's things about this controller that are very unique to this controller. You know, the C buttons on the side for looking around and that kind of thing. You have your you know, trigger underneath, and this controller, it might have been the first where the save slot was in the controller itself.
Well, a lot of games had a save in it, I think, but I think it depended on the game.
Well, like Zelda had a save in the game. It was one of the first to do that. But
a lot of them used the the thing, or the Rumble Pack. That was another thing you put in there.
There was that too. So yeah, Nintendo 64, not one of my absolute favorite controllers, but definitely a classic.
4 ports on the console made it really cool that you could get 4 players without having to get like an
adapter, like the 4 score or something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Sega Master System controller is sort of like a more basic NES controller. It's the same kind of thing.
So of course there's the Sega Genesis controller. Even with the just basic model of the Sega Genesis controller, there were differences. This one here it's basically the buttons are plastic and the D-pad is plastic. There was another version of the controller where the D-pad was actually made of like a rubber, and I always preferred that controller because this one I always felt was like a little bit more slippery, like your hand could slip off of it.
Okay.
Where the rubber controller felt a little, not rubber controller, but rubber D-pad. And when I say rubber, it might not actually be rubber.
It's something,
but it's something more like a rubber. I felt like your finger could be a little bit more. It just felt better. It was a better feel to it. The Sega Genesis had the Mega Fire controller. With this controller, you could switch to like the B button. You could switch it to turbo and had all these different cool options on it. So Genesis definitely had options to do turbo. This controller here, I mentioned earlier, was the arcade style joystick, where again, very cool controller, great to play old classic games, but again you have that problem of having this huge base. This one I think is maybe the most well done of those, because this thing's huge. I mean, look at this. Hold that. It's actually heavy, and that's what you want for that.
Yeah, I mean, to hold it would be a pain in the ass, but to put it down like this, maybe like if you had it on a table or something, this would actually work.
And that controller actually works really, really well. So for an arcade style controller on a console, I would definitely recommend that.
Yeah.
Then of course a little bit later on they had they came out with the Dreamcast. Now the Dreamcast controller was really interesting because with the Genesis controller they would put the wire on the back. NES controller was like that, Genesis, but they made the odd decision to put the wire on the bottom, and I never really liked that. They did put this thing on the back to where you can bring the wire to the back.
If they did that, why didn't they just put the wire on the top?
Exactly. It was
which
really
I allude to in my
the Seaman video for the nerd.
Exactly. But other than that one gripe, I think that's a pretty good controller. It is pretty form-fitted to your hand. It's a nice looking controller. I always loved the look of the sort of the pastel colors of the buttons. The Dreamcast was an awesome system. It was kind of just a beautiful console to look at. A lot of times I like to use the 6-button controller when playing Genesis because
Street Fighter.
Yeah, you know, you can do what you're talking about there. The buttons are on top of each other. You know.
Yeah, I mean, well, sometimes with Genesis, there wasn't enough buttons for the game. Like if it was Street Fighter, you need 6 buttons for Street Fighter. So there would be different things you would have to do to make certain moves work. But with a 6-button controller, I'm pretty sure that would work with Street Fighter. Any games that need more than 3 buttons.
The thing I didn't really like about the 6-button controller, though, is that it's kind of shaped like a banana, and it feels weird in your hand. Where the regular Genesis controller, I felt like it had a really good shape to it, and it felt good in your hand. I wish maybe there is one because there's so many different controllers, but I wish that there was a 6-button controller with this shape to it.
So we're getting out the GameCube controllers now. This one was good. It was sort of like they took everything that they sort of did with Nintendo 64 and Super Nintendo and sort of like took the best of everything and sort of, you know.
That's true. It's got the shoulder buttons kind of like Super Nintendo. It's got the sort of N64 C stick. It's form-fitted to your hand.
Yeah.
It's got a little D-pad. The start button isn't so far away that you can't get to it. It's right in the middle.
Yeah.
This really, I think, is one of the best, if not the best, Nintendo controller ever released. And I think a lot of people would agree with that because
if you want a joystick, like for more advanced games, yeah, for sure.
People that play Smash Brothers competitively, largely Smash Brothers Melee is considered to be kind of the best Smash Brothers game by many people. Which is why later on, when they released like Brawl and on, they would always release an adapter so that you could play, you know, the later versions of Smash Brothers with the GameCube controller, and that is only a testament to how good this controller was. Is that people didn't want to be playing Smash Brothers with the Wii controller and the nunchuck and all that. They were like, no, we want the GameCube controller because it's so good. And it wasn't just good for Smash Brothers, it was just great in general. I loved playing Monkey Ball and Wind Waker and all those games with this controller. It feels great in your hand. I don't think, other than maybe Super Nintendo, I can't think of a controller that feels better in your hand. It fits your hand perfectly. It's not too small, it's not too big. Where, actually we should show the original Xbox controller. I don't know when the last time you held one of those was, but the original Xbox controller felt like holding a huge brick. I mean, the thing was awful. In the years since, they've come out with better Xbox controllers, but never...
Xbox?
Xbox. Did I say Xbox?
Well, you almost did. That's why I finished it for you.
Yeah, basically, this controller, to me, feels better than any other controller. I think it's great. This is something that they totally got right. This controller is too big. It's just...
Let me hold that.
I think it is.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
It's a tank.
It is a tank.
Well, you can pinch your finger real easily in the LR trigger.
Yeah.
Like if your finger's too close to this, when this comes up here, you actually can like pinch your finger.
Yeah, that controller was too big, but then they slimmed it down later with the 360 controller. That's the Xbox One. This is the only 360 controller I have on me. It's my Batman Adam West one. But this is a slimmed down version of the original Xbox controller. It's very nice. Xbox 360 is one of my favorite systems. I think that this is one of the better controllers that's ever been out there. Yeah, I love the 360 controller.
So you just gotta do it to remember. Yeah, it's a lot lighter than the other one. It's similar, but it's yeah, they got the LR in the better position.
It's just like a sleeker design. And I actually have to say, you know, the Xbox One controller, also a nice controller, but I think I actually prefer the 360 controller. What do you think between the two?
Maybe this one's slightly better. Not much of a difference.
Well, that's good, though, because that's the newer version of it.
Okay.
It should be better.
Okay. Yeah, I can't end it without talking about PlayStation. Now, what I like about PlayStation is when they started adding Krang to them.
Those were the best ones, yeah.
Yeah, every controller came with Krang on it.
Every single one did, yeah.
This is pretty cool.
But that's the original PlayStation controller.
Yeah, so that's somebody like painted over, basically.
Yes, somebody painted over it.
That's really cool.
These controllers, I think, you know, the PS2 controller really.
They start to blend into me now. I feel like we're being nitty gritty. We're just kind of talking about like because they started doing basically the same thing where you'd have
Yeah, I mean, like look at
joysticks.
this. This is PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
And this is PlayStation 2. I mean, they're very close.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain differences, but you know, they're very similar in control.
Or even like, what do you think of the PlayStation controller when you first played it? Like ever?
I actually always loved the PlayStation controller.
I felt like they were just basically continuing what the Super Nintendo did and just adding more features on it because of the games becoming more advanced. So you had the joysticks and you had the you had the D-pad and you had everything that you would need.
One thing that I like about PlayStation, I mean, look at this. This is the PlayStation 1 controller. This is like what the PS2 and PS3 era controllers were like. All the controllers are pretty much similar, and I like that.
Yeah.
They didn't fuck with their design like Nintendo did.
That's true.
Nintendo keeps changing things like crazy, and they're very innovative for doing that.
Yeah.
And God bless Nintendo for being innovative.
Yeah.
But that's kind of one thing I liked with PlayStation is you knew what to expect.
They found something that worked and they stuck with it. I like that too. I do like progressing things and coming up with new ways to do it, but I feel like they got it pretty good the first time, and there wasn't really a whole lot of reason to change things around.
Yeah. So I actually think that this is one of the best controllers ever made. I'm just gonna say my favorites. My favorites are Super Nintendo, GameCube, and the PlayStation 2 controller. I think those three are. You don't get better than those. There's plenty of examples of terrible controllers out there, but those are the best.
I wish I could say something different, but I think it's the same ones.
You agree?
The only reason for me, I think I would put Super Nintendo at number one. I'm not sure if what you
I might go with GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that, but I'll go Super Nintendo, and then GameCube just under it because they're kind of like different things.
They are, but they're all good controllers. Last thing I want to talk about quickly is the Wii controllers because I have a couple things to say about those.
Sure, yeah.
It was very innovative. It was a successful console. But talking about the controllers, first of all, the Wiimote, the idea of pointing it at your screen was
swinging
and all
throwing
that.
bowling balls or doing whatever.
It was awesome. It was awesome to throw
yeah.
bowling balls and to swing swords around. But it was also something that I got tired of after a while.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad that games kind of came back to basic controllers. As far as this controller in particular, I never really liked playing games with this controller because it kind of felt like a stick of butter. It's very kind of slippery and just doesn't feel.
It's kind of like a worse version of the NES controller.
It really is.
If you're playing it that way.
It's a bad version of the NES controller. The buttons are too small. There's just all kinds of issues with this.
Which is maybe because it wasn't made primarily for that. Because it was like it's sort of like they were trying to fit everything into one thing.
Right, and then it had the nunchuck, which was I kind of liked the nunchuck.
Yeah.
It all worked good, but it just looking back on it now, I prefer playing with the regular controller, and I know like the first thing people are gonna say is, "Oh, but it had the Pro controller."
Yeah.
So usually when I played the Wii, I played it with the Pro controller, and the Pro controller was really good.
Yeah.
But again, even the Pro controller wasn't as good as like the Wii. I played it with the Pro controller, and the Pro controller was really good.
Yeah.
But again, even the Pro controller wasn't as good as like the PS2 controller or the GameCube controller or the Super Nintendo controller. This is a good controller, but not as good as those. So I just felt like the Wii didn't really have any options for great controls or great controllers. The best option for a controller on the Wii was plugging in your old GameCube controller because you were able to plug the GameCube controller into the front of the Wii.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of like that's the controller from the last system that you're using. There should be an awesome controller to use for the Wii, and I was never a huge fan of any of these.
Oh, it's very experimental.
It was.
I mean, Nintendo was always experimental, but I still like Wii Sports, actually.
Oh, it's a great
Like,
game. Yeah.
I remember the first time playing that with you and Bootsy, I think, and it's just really fun when you're swinging a bat or something.
It works really good for certain games. Like Wii Sports to this day is so awesome and so fun. I love it. But for other games, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I want to say about the Wiimote, the thing I fucking hate about the Wiimote is syncing the controllers and the batteries.
The batteries are horrible on these. Oh, like these, like if you put in brand new AA batteries, I swear, you put them in right away. You can play it maybe, for a while. If we're playing like a whole game right now, we could do it. But as soon as you turn it off and then you go do something else and come back like a week later, the batteries will be dead.
Yeah.
If you leave them in here, so it somehow uses the batteries up when you're not even playing it.
Sometimes it can do that. And also, the thing that I have had happen to me is that I've opened. Oh my god! In fact, there you go. I was gonna say this, and I was actually thinking in my head, oh, I wish I had that controller right now, but it's happening right now. The batteries get corroded inside. You can actually see the corrosion right there. Yeah, that's like a common problem. At least it's been with me. I'll open up these
with a lot of
Wii
electronics.
remotes. You leave the batteries in there for a long time, but here you go.
Like even just like putting away your Halloween decorations. Make sure you take out batteries. Anything that has batteries in them.
Yeah, but the PlayStation 2 controller. The Super Nintendo controller, the GameCube controller. There's no batteries.
No, they don't.
None of that.
They're rechargeable, and
Yeah. So
it was just a really bad. If the batteries would last, like not even that they last, but why do they have to drain on their own when the system's turned off and everything? That's the part that's bullshit to me.
And the other thing I hated about these controllers was syncing the controllers.
Yeah.
It was just. Like, if you spend a few minutes and do it, you can do it, but it's a pain in the ass.
It is a pain.
It's just like, I just want to stick the controller in and just start playing, like, immediately, like every other system pretty much ever made.
Yeah.
This is sync the Wiimote, hit the button on the back, open it up, stick a big pen in there. It's like,
exactly.
are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's so stupid.
And the batteries, of course, you're not supposed to leave them in for anything. You take them out, but that's just really stupid that they don't even last like a week, At least in my experience, they've always been bad. So basically, the Wii controller, you don't want to leave the batteries, and you want to always remember to take them out every time. So that's a pain. But just like that, like syncing and everything.
I don't want to end this on a negative note.
No.
One thing that Nintendo did that I think was amazing was for the Wii U, they released this bad boy right here, and this right here, you could plug your GameCube controllers in and use GameCube controllers with the Wii U. They realized, Nintendo was like, okay, we did a good job with the GameCube controllers. For our most modern system, we're going to release a thing where you can play the games with a GameCube controller, because they knew, like, we're done with this. We don't care about this. We want the GameCube controller. So, good on Nintendo for doing that and releasing this. Coming up next is the Nintendo Switch. We'll see how those controllers are. Hopefully they're good. There's a lot of other controllers we didn't talk about. There's TurboGrafx and there's Sega Saturn and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
This video could go on for 10 hours, but I thought we would just at least, people have been asking us to do this for a while, so I thought we'd at least say our general opinions on controllers.
Yeah, like we've only scratched the surface. There's so much out there. And this was very impromptu. We didn't really. This was just a spontaneous thing we just did. But I hope you enjoyed it. Tell us about your favorite controllers. There's just a lot more out there. Okay, so Mike has a lot of these homebrew games.
Homebrews, hacks, mods, whatever you want to call them.
Look at this. Look, this is how many.
Yeah.
So I've never seen all these, and I don't know what they are, but okay, you got Dr. Wario World, House Calls. Yellow cartridge, too. I've never seen a yellow cartridge.
That one I just picked up recently. I was at, you were there, Gifts for Gamers.
Okay.
When we were there, I picked that up.
Event, yeah.
I don't know what that one is exactly, but I think it's essentially Super Mario World with it. I haven't played it, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know what any of these are yet. Brutal Super Mario World. I'm going to assume that's like a very difficult... You know what? There was a ROM of some game. I remember I played it back in like the 2000s sometime. I'm going to say this was like 2005
5, something like that.
Yeah.
And it was like this extremely difficult version of Super Mario World.
Was it Kaizo Mario World?
I don't know. See, there's so many of those now that
There's
I
a
have
lot.
no. Yeah, but it was hilariously difficult. But now there's so many of them, and it's amazing that so many of these exist on cartridges because, like, you know, you have to make one of these. You got to buy a cartridge. You got to, you know, usually I guess they'd like just replace an existing game.
Well, there's also companies that make like just the shells, I believe. But yeah, a lot of times they do like destroy old cartridges. But I think most of the time when they do that, they'll take like really common games.
Yeah,
like they're not destroying like something rare.
Yeah, like when in the videos, like when we made the fake Nintendo World Championship stuff like that. It was like Top Gun,
Which you have like 8 million of them. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Literally.
A very Super Mario World.
Yes. Which I don't know anything about that one.
Super Bomberman 3.
Okay, I'm a huge like Bomberman fan, and the best Bomberman you're ever gonna play, if you ever want to play a Bomberman game, is Saturn Bomberman.
It's 20 player or whatever.
Well, that's one thing that's good about it. But if you just go through the single player, it's an awesome game. We should play that.
Yeah, do you have
one of these? I do. I have it right over there. It's sitting right over there.
Okay.
Yeah, Saturn Bomberman is fucking awesome. And I actually did a live stream on it once. I made it to the end of the game, but I couldn't beat the last guy. But such a good fucking game.
Add it to the list.
Yeah, definitely gonna have that. But that one, what was that one again?
Super Bomberman 3.
So the Bomberman games, a lot of them came out on Super Famicom, and I think we got a couple. There might have been like 2 or 3 on Super Nintendo, but I think there was more of them on Famicom than there was on Super Nintendo, if I'm not mistaken. And I think what this might be is one of the Famicom games put on a Super Nintendo cartridge, like US, North American.
Yeah.
I think it's that. I think that's what this is.
That's what a lot.
I think what this might be is one of the Famicom games put on a Super Nintendo cartridge, like US, North American.
Yeah.
I think it's that. I think that's what this is.
That's what a lot of these are.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these tend to be like whenever we've played a game that somebody gave us. A lot of times it would be like, this is a game you couldn't normally play on NES. But anyway, this is the Fireman. Oh yes.
I think I've told you about that. We should play that.
I actually played this one. Believe it or
you
not.
did?
Yeah. I don't remember the story of it, but
it's a game. It's one of those games like the new Ghostbusters game that came out in Europe, and we didn't get it here, and it's really good.
So it was a European game
that we didn't get here.
It didn't come out in North America. I played it at a convention. Somebody showed it to me, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden Evil Edition.
I'm assuming that has to be like a really hard version of Ninja Gaiden.
That's what I would have thought.
And isn't that a funny thought? Like a really hard version of Ninja Gaiden, as if that's not like the hardest fucking game already.
The masochist version, basically.
Yeah.
Like
So maybe I'll stream that.
I think. I mean, we don't know what it is, but see, the thing is, there's so many of these that the time it would take us to like research every one of these and like look up gameplay, it's like it's just overwhelming.
I've been collecting these for like. Since the Nerd series started, and yeah, I've amassed a lot of them. I also, by the way, have a lot of Atari 2600 like hacks and homebrews and stuff over there. But let's just go through these NES ones for now.
Mega Man in the Mushroom Kingdom.
That's like a Super Mario Brothers with Mega Man.
You know what that reminds me of? Remember Mega Man Ultra? I think we did that on Monday once.
Yeah, we did.
And there's a stage on there. I think it's the Woodman stage where they made it all Mario Brothers.
That's like what this whole game is.
That's what I'm guessing. Heart Fighter. Now this looks interesting.
I have played that before. I know what that is.
What is
Kart Fighter is essentially a shit version of Street Fighter 2. Imagine Street Fighter 2 if it was on the NES with bad controls, but instead of Street Fighter characters, it was the Mario Kart characters.
The Mario Kart character couldn't it have just been called Mario Fighter then?
But it's like the backgrounds and stuff. It's like themed to Mario Kart.
Okay. My Little Pony.
My Little Pony.
My Little
Your daughter likes My Little Pony, right?
Yeah, we watched a lot of the new series. I haven't seen much of the old one, but yeah, the new series is pretty good.
Believe it or not, that is Mega Man 2.
Really?
It's a Mega Man 2 with My Little Pony characters.
How does that work?
It's a hack.
150 and 1, so it's one of these multi-cart
It's a multi-cart.
It's probably, I see like Hogan's Alley, I think, or like, basically it's one of these games with like a bunch of games on it. So
it's a multi-cart.
I'm going to assume that there's nothing new on here that we don't know.
It's probably all just NES games.
You never know. It's like they just rebrand them with different titles. Crossfire. Now, at first I thought this was the board game Crossfire. Yeah.
I shot your mother with a laser.
Yeah, your introduction. Oh, it's fun. I played the board game with my daughter recently, Crossfire. She loves it.
But that has nothing to do with the board game. That's just like some other game.
It looks, it's disappointing. I wish it had. Maybe no. Here's the thing. How would you make a game of the board game anyway? I feel like it still could be. It's just you make it with real people. Because like the game, it's like, the Crossfire board game.
Like they have to turn it into something.
Yeah, you have to imagine. It has to turn into something. It has to turn into something that's not nothing.
Just like balls shooting around. It'd be like a pinball game, maybe.
Pinball game. All right, so somebody put Beat 'em and Eat 'em on NES.
That's interesting though, because I wonder what it looks like. Like, does it look like the Atari game? Maybe we should pop that in. Yeah. Want to play a little Beat 'em and Eat 'em, James?
Yeah, sure.
Look at how fucking.
Yeah. Want to play a little Beat 'em and Eat 'em, James?
Yeah, sure.
Remember their old college days.
Edition. Okay.
And Eat 'em, James?
Yeah, sure. The Guardian Legends Secret Edition. Okay.
Some kind of other version of Guardian Legends, which is a fantastic game. Which I do that for James and Mike Monday. It's like a long fucking game. It's tough, but a great game.
It's a weird cover though. You see the art?
It's a very weird cover.
It's like a clown shark getting shot at with a plane.
I'm so nostalgic for that game. I love that game.
Oh, cool.
But that one's different.
The new Strange Mario Brothers.
We played that one time. It's just another one of those weird. You don't. It's funny. We did a video. James doesn't remember.
There's so many fucking Mario.
We've only made like 250 of these fucking things by now.
The Adventure of Link Part 3. The Adventure of Link Part 3 Zelda 2. The Adventure of Link Part 3 Zelda 2.
Yeah, we gotta do that.
That's just.
Not Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link Part 3.
That would be worth it just to put the title in the video. That is hilarious. RoboCop versus Terminator. All right.
The Super Mario Brothers Unlimited one is actually some of the Mario hacks are like better than others, and I think I remember that one actually being pretty good.
Okay.
So.
RoboCop versus Terminator. I assume it's going to be like the Super Nintendo one, maybe just
haven't played
worse.
it. Yeah.
Just worse graphics. I don't know. The Legend of Robin Hood.
Okay. Well,
what's with this? Just looks like a game that would exist. So
there was Robin Hood Prince of Thieves on NES.
Oh, okay.
There was also Super Robin Hood, which was one of those like those gold NES cartridges that have like multiple games on them, or those like weird Quattro and all that. On there's a Super Robin Hood game that's like, it's kind of like an NES, an obscure gem. It's like a good game that nobody's talking about, but it's like a good game. But this one, this Legend of Robin Hood, I don't know if that's what this is or what this is, but I'm actually really interested to try this. I might try this sometime. I didn't even know I owned this. Okay. And the cover looks like something right out of like a Prince Valiant or something. I don't know, but it looks cool. Zelda Outlands. No, that Zelda Outlands was the first one of these that I ever got, and it's one of my favorite hacks ever.
It's like the third quest of Zelda.
It's like the third quest of Zelda, but now they've come out with Zelda Randomizer, which is essentially this game times a billion, because it's like what this game is, but you can randomize the game and have unlimited amounts of different styles and quests and things. It's like the greatest thing ever, Zelda Randomizer.
Super Contra 7, which we did a video of before.
Yeah, we did.
And I never figured, did we ever figure out what did they mean by Super Contra 7? Like, where were they getting 7 from?
Go back and watch the video that we did.
Super Mario Adventure. There's how many of these adventure?
There's adventure, and then there's adventures.
And then there's the Yeah, you got Super Mario Adventure, Super Mario Fantasy Adventure, and Super Mario Adventures.
Is that not? Are you confused yet?
Yeah, I'm confused.
All right, so here you go. You have something to say about that one?
Oh, Mother Earth. I'm assuming what this is.
Well, it came out on Famicom, correct?
Originally, yeah, the game Mother was on Famicom. It was one of those games that didn't come out in North America, probably because it was too hard or it was too good or something. And the second one came out in on Super Nintendo, but it was called, instead of calling it Mother 2, here it was called Earthbound. Because I think it was originally.
So this may just be the Famicom game put to an NES cart.
Exactly.
Or it could be
Earthbound Zero.
a hack of that.
Or it could be a hack of, they later put it out on, I'm going to say, Game Boy Advance or something. And they called it Earthbound Zero.
Yeah.
Because it's like before Earthbound. But they, basically, like, it was released later on, but it's one of those things where it was never released when it was new.
Yeah.
Rockman Claw. So this is like another Mega Man one, but look at this cover.
It's kind of, I don't know, I kind of like it. It's a little ridiculous, but it's kind of cool.
It looks like something that would exist. I mean, they put like a kid in a costume and they just like, yeah, it looks like somebody.
Well, it's like a painting, right?
Well, they painted on top of it, I think, but it looks like they got a real like kid in a costume.
Yeah, maybe.
This color of the cartridge.
What color is that color?
I don't know. What color is this color?
You know how we used to talk about, like, try to invent a color that doesn't exist?
They did it.
There, right there.
Yo, I've
He
seen
says
that
it with such
top of it. I think.
He says it with such astonishment and like factuality.
It looks like they got a real like kid in a costume.
Yeah, maybe.
Color.
You know how we used to talk about, like, try to invent a color that doesn't exist?
They did it.
There, right there.
Yo, I've seen everything. I've seen there's the baby blue cartridges, the black cartridges, the gray cartridges. You know, gold. Did I say gold? You know, red. But look,
like Spider-Man. Yeah.
Then you got this.
What color is that? It's not orange. It's not brown. It's not.
It's like terracotta.
Like, name this color. Name that color.
At first, I was gonna say like mustard. It's a little dark.
It's not mustard because that'd be like yellowish.
I would call the color terracotta.
At first, I was gonna say mustard. Like,
well, I'll get a close up and good
like
lighting
a brown,
later.
like a brown mustard or something. I'm gonna say this probably looks different in different lights, but looking at it right now, I have no.
I've never seen that color. Have you?
It's kind of like if you mixed red with like a little bit of white, a little bit of cadmium yellow, a little bit of.
Only Bob Ross would be able to name the color that is.
Yeah.
Maybe.
This is, I mean, by the way, the name, Aberenbu Tengu, I don't know.
That's the color!
That's the color! Wow.
The name of the game is the color.
Wow.
They named it.
This is interesting. Ultimate Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, what I like what they've done here is that they took the artwork and they
fixed it.
They actually gave, well, I mean, it was originally like the comics, like they all have the red headbands. But now they not only
fixed it to make it like the cartoon.
Like the cartoon, but they put all the colored headbands on. Not only that, but they made them all the colors that they are in the action figures. Like Donatello's kind of darker green than, you know, like Michelangelo's kind of like a really green.
Different
green.
shades of green.
Yeah, I don't know what to call them, but yeah.
This here is Wario Blast. I tried this one time. It's basically like the first Bomberman on NES, but with Wario in it. It's really like nothing special. Sunman, I think this is a game made by Sunsoft, and Sunman by Sunsoft, but it's I think it never came out. They didn't finish it or something. And then last but not least, we have Sweet Home, which this is a game that came out on Famicom. There was a movie, a horror movie that was a Japanese horror movie that it's based off of, and this is an excellent game, which I need to get. I actually am. If I looked over there, I actually might own the Famicom cartridge. But this would be a good maybe game to play for us for October.
Yeah, you were telling me about last October. Then I found out about Polybius. So
yeah. So out of all these, what do you want to try out?
Okay, well, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play. We're gonna pick just one for now. These are some of the. We're gonna pick just one for now. These are some of the
out of all the October.
Yeah, you were telling me about last October. Then
at least we have Sweet Home, which this is a game that came out on Famicom. There was a movie, a horror movie that was a Japanese horror movie that it's based off of, and this is an excellent game, which I need to get. I actually am. If I looked over there, I actually might own the Famicom cartridge. But this would be a good maybe game to play for us for October.
Yeah, you were telling me about last October. Then I found out about Polybius. So
yeah. So out of all these, what do you want to try out?
Okay, well, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play. We're gonna pick just one for now. These are some of the top contenders here. Gee. Yeah, look, here's our top contenders. It's still like a stack. So anyway, some usual day.
No.
Link.
I do want to play that.
I know, TV Mario, I don't know. This one, it's like the color's funny. Mario Adventure. Fantasy. I mean, yeah, you said I should play this one, so I should somewhere in. But then there's Lawnmower, Hero Quest. How about we do Mega Man: The Mushroom Kingdom?
Yeah, I would like to see that. It's interesting that this is a Mega Man 1 hack, because most of them are Mega Man 2.
Exactly, yeah.
I didn't realize that. So let's do... Usually when I'm playing Mega Man, I usually start with Bomb Man. Okay. So let's do that. Let's see how this goes. How is this going to be? So far, it's just Mega Man. Like, where's the Mario part?
Game so far.
Oh, well, here we
There
go.
you go.
And it's red, too.
Yep.
Oh, it's Mario 3 as well, not even...
Yeah, that's cool.
I wonder if the other things are going to be like Super Mario Brothers, or if it's all going to be like Mario 3. Mega Man 1 plus Mario 3.
Really makes you wish you could break the blocks.
Yeah.
And bounce on those, the musical notes.
I wonder if the bosses are going to be just the Robot Masters, or... probably will be, I guess. Or if like the bosses are like the Koopa Kids or something. I like that he's red. I guess they were going for that he's supposed to be like Mario.
I guess. Matches the vine. I mean, why is the vine red? I'm not sure.
That's true. And the ground is like... You know, I guess people today, like, people are used to this kind of stuff. There's been so many of these type of games,
That's
like, with
the
like Mario
thing.
Maker. But in
Well,
2006, this was special.
Yeah, this is crazy.
That's funny.
There's the Mario crossover game. That was when like this kind of thing started getting really big. I think like when I started hearing more about it. Because I kind of felt like when I saw it the first time, I was like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool idea that somebody did that.
Right.
And then when I heard it again, I was like, oh, but it's been done. I already seen it. But then I saw that it was done like people kept upping the ante.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, let's see Simon Belmont inside of Ninja Gaiden or something. And it just keeps on getting crazier and
when
crazier.
there's a good thing, people like to have it happen again and again and again. It's kind of like the Angry...
My mother is the best, but holy shit, she wants 15 seasons of whatever show is good. And I keep trying to tell her, Ma, if they made 15 fucking seasons of Breaking Bad, it wouldn't be good anymore. At some point, it would turn to dog shit, because it always does. Like Grey's Anatomy, like fucking a couple of bits of Dexter. Some of it's dog shit, because it goes on for 9 years. Sometimes you need it to be short, sweet, good. Breaking Bad's the best. The Breaking Bad universe, because you got as much as you could possibly want. You got Breaking Bad. If you want more, you got Better Call Saul. If you really, really want more, you got El Camino. If you really, really, you got like a shitty animated thing. And at that point, just go rewatch Breaking Bad, dude. Like, come on. Friendly fires on. Team collision is on. Armor and fuse kits are purchasable. They are not on. I'm gonna nut on yo bitch. Oh! Nutting on yo bitch. Whoa!
Laying down smelling. Throwing flashbang. Flashbang.
Sucking on a dick slow.
Throwing a grenade.
Fucking sucking penis. Whoa! 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 Whoa!
You want me to stack banana?
Stack banana, yes sir.
Let's do it.
Everyone, or you want to go down mid too?
Is the Deagle or the Doolies better for stacking bananas?
Stack a banana in your throat.
Yes,
Deagle.
sir.
Deagle's
I mean,
better.
yes, sir.
We got 64 in the house, huh?
Classic gamer. I played Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. Don't talk to me.
Oh my god.
Holy shit, he got shot in the head. That didn't happen to Banjo-Kazooie.
There's a kid behind you.
Don't care.
He was trolling? Was there really an enemy on our flank?
They're all...
There's one over here.
Or am I the kid behind him? Mid left.
That's good.
Incendiary out.
It's okay, you were cracked for that first kill. choose to remember you.
Remove any doubts in your head. It's us or them.
Fire in the hole.
Deploying flashbang. Deploying flashbang.
Why?
Go fucking block me, bro.
I was sitting there! What the fuck did I do? What the fuck? You got some anger issues. I did not deserve that shotgun blast to the head. Not to mention I was flashbanged. Like, what the? Rarely do I do nothing wrong. Rarely. Normally I'm bothering the shit out of people on purpose.
Bro, I get
But
it,
right
I
there,
get
I
it,
did
I
nothing
get it.
wrong. And that's all I have to say.
What did you say, man? Can you start from the top? Sure
I
that's
said,
all you have to say,
achoo.
pal?
Bless you. Thank you.
Look, just don't block me. That's all I ask. Hey, is your mic like?
I was flashbanged!
Is your mic across?
I didn't even know I was blocking you!
That's a negative.
Yes. Technically speaking, the microphone is on the floor. I am 5 foot and 9 inches off of the floor. My voice is probably 5 foot and 7 inches off of the floor.
Yo, shut up, bro. What are you
I'm just
doing?
giving you the information! Or was it your buddy that asked the
Who
question? I
asked?
can't
Who asked?
differentiate your voices! You got similar names!
Who asked?
Are you brothers?
Bro,
Or booty buddies? Because it's hot either way.
What? It's hard to hear you.
I said you're cool with me, bros.
No, we're niggas.
You got it.
That's alright, gentlemen.
We prefer to go by, don't dead name us, okay? We're niggas.
Well, you spelled it Nick Quas.
No, there's no you.
I'm muting all you guys, so bye.
Alright,
I
no gives
love
a
you.
fuck, virgin.
Goodbye, my friend. You've been a valuable teammate, and you will continue to be.
Yeah, kick that pussy.
I'm not hitting F1. There's no way. I'm not hitting F1. Yeah, someone else voted no, so I'm gonna hit no. No way.
Apps.
Throwing fire. Throwing flashbang.
Like the buffalo wings at Applebee's? Apps. Apps.
Flashbang.
Yeah, my balls is callsin'. She.
Hey.
Dude, we'll get.
Follow me.
It's okay, I forgive you. That's all it takes to make them mad. That's all it takes, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this. They want to get very mad. Very, very.
Go, go, go. Deploying decoy.
Tetris. The guy just says Tetris. My balls.
Short.
Well, not that short.
2 middle.
God damn.
You're about to get deep.
Whoa.
You guys hold A?
Okay.
Maybe buy a Nova. Best gun in the game.
It's so good I don't have it in my loadout.
It's because you're bad.
Hey, you don't need such harsh insults.
You want me to
That
blow
one
your head
really
off
hurt
again
my
with the Nova?
feelings. Hey, wait a minute. I'm not done telling this guy he hurt my feelings.
Shit.
Uh-oh.
Too short.
Oh, we missed those. Nice. 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 Run, Nick! Tragic. Hepatic. Smoked like a haddock.
You say hepatic?
Yes.
Do you know what that means?
New paddock? Of course. It's a shortening of the word padlock. You just take the L out.
You have Down syndrome.
And?
And you're gay.
Yeah, and? Down and gay is better than down and bad. That's all I'm saying. The fuck am I saying? Fuck me. Okay, so the whole team's there just see war over at B. But I believe in you. Okay, I'm now done believing in you.
Shut the fuck up.
Hey, I was telling you I believed in you while you got shot. You're welcome.
me just kick this faggot. Bro.
Yeah. Don't do it, homie. I didn't kick you. Remember that. I voted no. You son of a bitch! You betrayed me. You betrayed. What the fuck? I fucking hate this game. God damn it. Fucking piece of shit game. Fuck no, I'm not playing another goddamn fucking match. Fuck you. The game sucks.